Hey everyone, this is Matt with Fidgets and Widgets, and today we're going to take a quick look at a couple of mini spinners from United Machining LLC, which is run by Dylan Polseno. Dylan's website is www.unitedmachiningllc.com, and you can also find him on Facebook and groups. Again, United Machining LLC Products. You can find him on Instagram at United Machining, and you can also find his Etsy page by again searching for United Machining. That's a doozy. These are mini spinners. These are the ones I'm taking a look at. I think he has other spinners as well, but these are the ones I'm looking at today. I only have the brass and the copper. The stainless steel was sold out, but I hope to get a stainless steel one to complete the trilogy here. In terms of mini spinners, you can either go with a C360 brass, a C145 copper. They come with a stainless steel bearing, and they run again around, these run about 35 bucks. You can get the stainless version, which I do not have here. That's a 17-4 stainless with a stainless steel bearing. That runs $45, and you get the buttons separately from the spinner, and they run 10 bucks a set. So for example, if you wanted to buy this one, it does not come with a button set initially. For the way he tracks inventory, he prefers to do it separately. I don't have an issue with it, but I know some people do, because I think the spinner ought to come with a button. On the other hand, he's very clear about it. I didn't have an issue with it, but just note that you're only buying the spinner body, and not unless you add, you need to add the button in there to make it a functional spinner. In terms of, again, the cost wise, these are $35 a piece. The buttons run $10 a set. He also does some bow tie spinners, which I'm not including, but if you look at the written review, you'll see the specs and the costs in for those as well. Again, that's a bow tie spinner. In terms of the specs for the brass, again, it's a 1-inch diameter. It's 0.625 inches wide, and the buttons, if you add them in, add enough to make it button to button of about 0.8125, and the weight on the brass with the buttons is 40 grams. The copper is 42 grams. The stainless I don't know, because I don't have it. And again, if you want the bow tie information, that'll be in the written review. In terms of getting these together, let's get a close look. Those look like you could replace the bearing if you choose to. I'm not going to mess with them, but I suspect you could. But anyway, that gives you a look at what, again, this is what you're buying separately. Let's see what we want to go with here. Black. Let's go with the red on this. And we'll start to take a look at the spin times. The spin times on these, again, they're not high. They're about 45 seconds. I don't have an issue with it because, again, I'm a fidgeter and I don't care about the spin time. But for those of you who do, and there are some there, it's 45 seconds. But for a pocket carry, daily carry, pocket spinner to fidget, it certainly does the trick. We got a little warp in there. And again, this is the brass version. Love the button design. An aluminum button, of course. But I think you'll certainly be pleased with these if you choose to get a set. If you're into mini spinners, I like them. If you're into the monster ones, like I like those too. Obviously, this is not a monster one. Mini spinners seem to be the rage these days because they're pocket carry, they're easy to be discreet with. You can have them in meetings and still have your hands fidgeting. This is the copper version. And there we go with a nice looking warp video. And look how small that is. You can tell it's not really much bigger than my thumb. But in terms of United Machining LLC, they've got two main spinner lines, the mini spinners and the bow ties. Again, if you look at the written review, I'll have some pictures of the bow ties for you to take a look at. Dylan started this in 2014 as a machine shop, serving industrial customers. But then he started making his own products on the side when time permitted. And it seems that over the past year, those side products that he's been doing have begun to take off, and he's doing a little bit more focusing on his own product lines. In terms of just some comments from Dylan, he believes that the spinner fad, of course, like most, is a passing one. But there'll be some dedicated followers that stay behind, like myself, that love this stuff. In terms of making it a full-time business on its own, I think you'll see some of these companies start diving into tops, knives, machined pens, stuff you've already started to see if you look around, some EDC work. So for somebody like myself that's a little fidgeter, whether it's an EDC item, a spinner, or a top, they've all got their place, and you can probably have a few of each. In terms of Dylan's thoughts, he thinks 2018 might be a slowdown. He himself doesn't own any spinners, but honestly, he kind of cringed at the pricing that he saw from the high-end manufacturers like MD Engineering and Rotoblade. I happen to love those products too, but obviously they're more expensive. And he wanted to compete equally on a quality level with them, but at a better price point than what they had. And I think you can tell he achieved that, because this is a terrific little piece, and it's certainly reasonably priced. It's well machined. He doesn't want to say too much on the future, but he does say that a move to low volume, higher end materials is one of the few ideas that he has in the works for now. I like his perspective. It's refreshing. He doesn't believe in limited drops that sell out within minutes, which I think you see, like, for example, with ZF. Their stuff tends to sell out within a minute. And, he's noted that as long as customers are willing to participate in them, manufacturers will take advantage of those customers. And one of his quotes was, push someone to the edge by just missing out, and they will probably take their money elsewhere. That's an interesting comment, because it's true. I've never owned a ZF. I've been trying to get one on a limited drop. I didn't get one, and I went over to some other spinners, which were beautiful as well, and even got a few customs, like from Nils Co-Ring, and as a result, I don't know how many dollars ZF lost, and whether it matters to them or not, that my business went elsewhere. But at some point, everybody who has a spinner from ZF or even from United Machining, they'll have one, and maybe the market price will dictate where those go. But I'm not going to blame ZF for doing it, because they get what the market bears, and the market's bearing a high price. Long term, it'll remain to be seen whether that is viable. But I'm guessing that ZF isn't losing any sleep over the fact that I buy other spinners. But interesting comment nonetheless. He really is kind of pragmatic and certainly realistic about the state of the industry. Again, I think he enjoys it. He likes to provide the product. He doesn't like limited drops. He doesn't like gouging of the customers. And again, I think that's more towards torque bars and stubbies and ZFs, in my opinion, what he's getting at, but to each his own. In terms of marketing terms, he also thinks that relates to inflated pricing. When people use terms like billet, military grade, aerospace grade, they're completely meaningless marketing words. Metals pricing goes from the lowest, which he told me is aluminum, and then it goes to brass, then copper, then stainless steel, then titanium, then tungsten, then a blended tungsten, and then finally to the highest cost metal, which would be your blended metals, Damascus, Trimascus, Makudi, etc. Another comment that he made, which was kind of interesting, was all customers should try their best to learn more about what they are purchasing. He believes that customers are overpaying for titanium and tungsten products, and think about it, some of the tungsten buttons are sold for the same price as an entire spinner. So it's an interesting comment and accurate as well. His thought, just educate yourself before jumping in and be smart about it, which I think is good advice in anything that you do. My personal opinion is these are great, reasonably priced spinners. You're looking at, again, at about $45 for one with a button set. You can buy the extra buttons as well. And in fact, I think, Dylan, I just pre-ordered another one. It's a tungsten spinner, and I think that ran $90 if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to double check, but I think that was about $90. So you can see he's starting to branch out a little bit anyway. But hopefully this gives you a little idea of what Dylan is thinking about, what his perspective on the industry is, which I think is refreshing. And then as well, if you're looking for a terrific little mini spinner, I think you found it right here. So hopefully you give it a try. And again, you can go to the website unitedmachiningllc.com. That's Matt with Fidgets and Widgets, and I hope you enjoyed the review, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.